Welcome to another episode of the STR Sisterhood. I'm your host, Stacey St. John, and I am so grateful to spend a few minutes with you today. Now, before we jump into this episode, I want to share a quote with you that I recently read, and it says, "A strong woman looks a challenge dead in the eye and gives it a wink." I love that. What a great visual. That comes to us from American filmmaker and musician Gina Carey. So wonderful. Now, today we are sitting down with Jessica Hill, and we are learning all about her boutique property management and co-hosting business and how she's balancing that with a full-time job and being a mom of two with one child being special needs. So without further ado, let's jump into my conversation with Jessica. All right. So today we are joined by Jessica Hill, and we are talking all about designing profit, purpose, and presence. Jessica, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Stacey. I'm really happy to be here today.
Well, I have so many questions to ask you, but first, let's start kind of at the heart of it. What inspired you to get into short-term rentals, and how did your journey begin?
Well, our short-term rental journey started when I just had my second child. My husband, we got married in Southport, North Carolina. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's a cute, small coastal town. It's actually where the movie Safe Haven was filmed. And we fell in love with the area and got married there. And my husband actually saw a condo for sale that was really close to the Marsh Walk where we got married. So he's like, "I've got an idea. Let's buy a property there." And I'm thinking, "You're insane." And I didn't think that it was possible for us, but it all worked out. We were able to purchase a really cute condo in, the town where we got married. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." And so we had the numbers for where it was ran as a short-term rental, because obviously we couldn't, pay for two homes and things like that. So we actually were able to take that revenue and actually make it larger. We were able to build upon that and grow that. And we actually fell in love with the whole experience of hosting and communicating with guests and building an experience. It was something we found that we both really enjoyed. And so after doing this for about 5 years or so, and we still had our W-2s, we decided, well, hey, let's really dive in on this. This is something that we're actually really good at, because people started asking us like, "Hey, how did you do this? Or how'd you get, how are you guys doing so well? You guys are staying booked all the time." And so we started helping them like, well, we can help a lot of people. So we that's where Jetsetter kind of started. That's where our company was built, because we want to help other hosts have that freedom that we all want. It's not just for us, it's for everybody. We want them to see that there is a business in short-term rentals, that they can have them work for them.
Absolutely. And so Jetsetter is your company. How many properties do you currently manage?
We manage 12 presently. We're onboarding a couple more, but it's a small boutique portfolio, but we like it that way. We're able to give, we don't want to be this massive company with hundreds of properties, because I feel like that we can't deliver the attention that each property deserves. I think you reach a point, you get too big, and it becomes more, quantity over quality, and you start utilizing systems. It's like a rinse and repeat. And these clients, they don't get the attention that they deserve, and neither does the property.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that, because as I have grown my portfolio, I currently manage about 42 short-term rentals in different locations. And the vast majority of our portfolio, of course, is located in Myrtle Beach. And then I do hosting in other areas as well.
That's awesome.
But balancing the quality with the quantity is very difficult, very difficult.
Yes.
And so, that boutique model, and it's funny that you mentioned boutique. That's how I, share what we do at Cozy Getaways is, in Myrtle Beach, as an example, there are these massive operators, with 500, 700, 1,000, 1,500 listings. And I am quite the opposite of what I call the Walmarts of the world. And I position myself as, think of it as Walmart or a little boutique shop on the corner. I'm the boutique shop, right? So from your perspective, what do you feel like are the key differentiators with utilizing a smaller property manager, at least from your vantage point?
I think that you get that more one-on-one connection with your client or one-on-one connection with a property. I've seen too many companies, they've grown so vastly that there's more people involved and you lose sight of delivering that experience because not everybody holds the same standards as you. And I want our clients to feel like that we're involved, like their property manager is there. We were in coastal Carolina this weekend, actually working on one of the properties that we have. And we were driving through, and as you said, in Myrtle, there are these large companies that have these properties. And yes, they're dominating the market. But have you looked at the property? Have you seen like the yards grown up? And it's bad. And it breaks my heart for the owner because they may not be as involved. They may be one of those that are kind of hands off, that they don't realize what the property's looking like. They have no idea what the experience is looking like for the guest. And so their short-term rentals falling flat, not only on their rental calendar, but their booking revenue. And I'm sure it doesn't look good on the listing as far as the photos and things like that. It's just, they're under delivering. And I feel like that with the boutique model, we can be involved. We are more hands-on. If it ever gets to a point that I can't be a part of the experience, and that's not the kind of business that I want to build. I want to be involved. I love what you're doing with Cozy Stays. Like, I mean, you're a mentor for me. But that's the kind of business that I want to build for our clients. And I think we're truly delivering that. I really do. I would love to connect with some of the owners that feel like, I didn't realize that my property looked like that. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've actually viewed some properties that are managed by some of the larger Walmarts of the world when it comes to property managers in the Myrtle Beach market specifically. And I viewed them because, they were up for sale. And I've often wondered, well, are they up for sale because they're not bringing in the revenue that, the owners anticipated? And boy, oh boy, when you walk into those properties, the lack of cleanliness and care is surprising. Actually, it is surprising and unfortunate. And so, like I believe by having a boutique model and not taking on every property that comes my way and being selective about the properties and the owners for which we choose to support, it allows us the opportunity to deliver a different level of service to our owners and to our guests. And that's how I want to be known, right? It sounds like you're the same. And we are different than the massive property managers out there.
Agreed. I think that you'll see a lot of short-term rentals for sale because they didn't perform like they thought they should or had hoped that they should. But I think I attribute a lot to the management that they have had during that time and the scale and the systems that they have in place. And not just that, but the design. You don't want to take that as an afterthought. It's actually, it's part of your strategy. It's part of your, your brand, your marketing. You need a property that stands out from the rest. And that's something that's really, really crucial to having a successful short-term rental.
Absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned design because one of the requirements that I do have for the properties that I take on is they have to be updated, right? And I first started buying in Myrtle Beach because I loved buying ugly and fixing them up. And there were so many opportunities to buy ugly, right?
That's the fun part, is getting them all, the design, the creativity that comes with it. I love that part. That's exciting for me.
I know. It's so fun. I'm curious with regard to your day-to-day. how involved are you? I know you mentioned you loved interfacing with the guests. How involved are you with the guest experience, and what does that look like for you on a daily basis?
I am definitely involved in the day-to-day operations. I love to, start my day looking at our properties, really getting in on our property management software, changing our pricing, things like that. I love to connect with the guests. I do have a team and they help, part of the week because I do work a W-2. But at the same time, I'm still involved. Like I get the notifications. I know what's going on with my properties at all times. I'm in contact with my housekeeper and my maintenance and our guest experience concierge. So I'm always in the know. And I want it to stay that way. I don't want to be in the dark. I don't want some issue to, boil and then I don't know what's going on and it's too late for me to recover. I want to stay that way. That's why I like the boutique model. So I'm always involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, if you don't mind sharing, what do you do in your W-2?
I'm actually a healthcare administration. So I help operate multiple medical practices in rural East Tennessee. So
Amazing. And I'm just curious, what have you pulled over from your W-2 into your short-term rental business?
I would say that a strong character trait of mine is that I love interacting with people. I love connecting, whether that is the patients that come into the clinic, whether it's the employees that I deal with on a day-to-day for the operations. I feel the same about connecting with our guests. Over the course of, the last 7 years, I have gotten to interact with some of the most amazing people, the most amazing families. We have repeat guests. We've built relationships. And I love that piece of the short-term rental industry.
Mhm.
That's the fun part. I mean, I've met people from all over and their families come back and stay with us year after year. Or I've, met with other short-term rentals, got to connect in this industry, as well as hosting and connecting with other short-term rental owners. And that's the fun part because we all get to help and connect one another and build these experiences together. So.
Amen to that. Amen to that. This is definitely a relationship and a people business, no doubt.
It
No
is.
doubt.
That's hospitality. Absolutely.
Now, you talked about design, and in my experience, design is so much more than just making it pretty. For
Yes.
you and the properties within your portfolio, how does design influence the performance of a property and ultimately its profitability?
Yeah, I mean, you want design you want that to set it apart from the other properties because you can get on Airbnb or VRBO and you can scroll. There's tons of short-term rentals, but you want yours to stand out in your photos. Not just that, but I think when we all signed up for hosts, I don't think we realized how much marketing and social media was going to be such a big driver for our boutique property management business. But it truly is the content creation that comes with it. So we're also taking, video content and photo content and piecing these email marketing, campaigns together and things like that. So it's multiple streams that we're actually trying to utilize this design because you want that to stop the scroll. You want it to be attention grabbing so that people are like, wow, I'm going to book their properties in. They may take a minute and they'll go to your website and start looking at your other beautiful properties. Like you want to develop that attention, that connection. And I think through design that you do that, but it's not just that, it's also building an experience. Like we also have properties in Nashville. So a lot of our properties have custom murals in them. So we're delivering, like I said, an experience of a selfie wall or something that really speaks to the country music lovers out there that, they come for that experience.
Yeah. And are you designing those properties or do you partner with designers?
I have designed all of our properties. And then, of course, our co-host clients, we definitely make suggestions, as you say, to help, drive. It's part of our marketing strategy. We definitely make suggestions and it's up to our clients to decide if that's something that they want to implement. So, we definitely assist with that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. I was going to say, I have built my business so that I'm not only making the suggestions for anyone who needs the design help, right?
Yes.
And oftentimes owners will come to me knowing they need design help, right?
Right.
And one of the things I'll always share is, hey, personally, I'm not an interior designer, but I can design a beach condo in my sleep. Like I've done it so many times, right?
Right.
And so it provides a value to my client because I'm not necessarily, I'm charging them to manage their project, but I'm not charging them what a normal designer might charge
Right.
them to design
Right.
their property. And why that's important is making yourself unique, setting yourself apart in the marketplace is so important. I have found, you know, and offering additional services outside of your day to day property
Yes.
management or co hosting services. I'm curious how you have approached that in your business and have you exposed that as a revenue stream?
We've had multiple design clients where I have, taken a look at their property and built design boards and made suggestions. That's a fun part for me. It's a creative outlet for me. I love looking at a blank space and going, oh, I would do this, and really thinking about the guest experience because let's be honest, that's what's driving the design.
Mhm.
It's a really fun for me. So we have done that for some of our clients and really enjoyed that piece of it. We've also done like listing optimization and to help other hosts to really, set their listing apart from everyone else because it is important. So yeah, we have, expanded upon our services, I would say in our boutique model for sure.
Yeah. And how many markets are you in currently?
Well, we are in Middle Tennessee and East Tennessee. We're also in North Georgia, in the Blue Ridge area. And then we have coastal North Carolina. And then we also have a property in Stone Shoe, West Virginia. So we're a little bit in the southeast, but we're trying to stay in these little markets, not get our spread too thin. But we love those areas. So
Yeah.
it's easy to market a property in an area that we ourselves enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I'm curious, for any of our listeners who are running smaller portfolios, what lessons do you think they can borrow from a boutique management approach to create a high touch guest experience, even at a small scale? What are your thoughts on that?
I think starting off building your systems early from the beginning. You don't want to, start doing all these things and then realizing, oh, this is chaos. Like,
Right.
don't lose your sanity over this. Let's, start and make sure that you have the proper systems in place. I think another big thing for me was finding who, not how. I tend to be one of those people that loves to be involved with everything, but at the same time, there are people that can probably do it better than me. So I have, brought those people on my team to help with those things. So that way I can be a more effective property manager and do the things that I love to do. So I would
Go
say that
girl.
those are my two pieces of advice.
And I was going to say, those are beautiful pieces of advice. I couldn't agree more. Developing systems and the infrastructure in your business is so critically important. And so often, folks get into co hosting and property management like you and I, where people come to you and say, hey, you're doing such a great job. Your calendar is full. Mine isn't. Will you manage my property? And it's not that anyone intentionally decides to expand their business without systems in place. It just kind of happens that way. And I
Right.
believe that if you can get ahead of it and build the infrastructure into your business early on so that your business can operate without you,
Mhm.
quite candidly, you have the ability to grow without so many growing pains. You still have growing pains, no doubt about it,
Right.
but
This
you
is
can
not
lessen the impact of those growing pains.
right. Yeah, this is not a passive industry. If you think that you're going to purchase a short-term rental and it's going to be smooth sailing, I have news for you. It is not that way. It is something that requires you to be in your business and be involved. And that's why we're here, because not everybody wants to do that. And it's something, find a who, not a how. This is something that we love. So we would love to help.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I'm curious, aside from your W-2, are you working full-time in your W-2?
I am. I am working full time in my W-2. This is something that I do on the side down the road. If that's a door that opens, great. That would be amazing. But no, I do still work.
Okay, so you're working full-time. You are balancing this co-hosting business, and you also have a family. Tell me about your
Yeah.
family.
I'm married to my husband. He is a federal police officer, and I'm still in healthcare, of course. We have 2 kids. They're still young, fairly young. My son actually has special needs. And so I love being a mom. Absolutely. It's my pride and joy and one of the best roles that I could ever possibly have. So I'm very blessed.
And so, talk to me a little bit, if you don't mind me asking, talk to me a little bit about parenting a special needs child while you are building a business and working full time. Like, how are you managing all of that?
It's good quality time management. It is, I had set aside designated hours that I work on our business before or after my work day starts. And then planning that time that I need to be present for my kids in the evening because, for example, my daughter does extracurriculars or my son, needs one-on-one time with us as, parents, dinner on the table. And then after that, I can resume if I didn't finish anything up during the day that I need to take care of for a business. I can, go back to that after the kids are asleep. But it's definitely a labor of love. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. And I think that that's what makes it so easy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's a phrase out there, I'm sure you've heard it, but when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, right?
Absolutely.
I do feel like that. Like every day I walk into my office and it doesn't feel like work. It's just fun. I just love it so much, right? So
It is fun. It absolutely is.
that's great. Now, I asked you a few minutes ago what you have brought in from your W-2 into your short-term rental business. What have you pulled from motherhood into your short-term rental business?
I would say that you don't assume that your guests know everything about, the check-in experience and what to expect in the rental. I think that being a good communicator, being very thorough in your messaging, so that way you can set expectations before they arrive. I think that that is really important to delivering that 5-star experience that we are all longing to deliver.
Sure. Interesting. And so it's funny that you talk about assuming and communication with your kiddos. My kiddos are older, they're grown adults now. But tell me why you chose that. How did communication and assumption make its way into your world as a mother?
Well, I guess you can't expect your kids to know and understand how things work or how to do something. So you really have to get down to, layman's terms and explain each step. Because my daughter, for example, if I tell her about something, she wants to know why. She needs to know. It's not that I'm just being perfectly honest. She wants to understand it. She wants to know why. And I think our guests, not that it's relevant, but they want to know why. So I think that it's important to deliver that messaging that explains, okay, so you are going to park in XYZ spot, and then you are going to head to the elevator that is directly in front of your parking space. And and this is where you pick up your key, or this is how this app works, or this is where this is located. You want to over communicate to some degree so that way you minimize the amount of questions that you have, for one thing. But 2, you're also setting that expectation. I think that that's important. because multiple, like most of our guests that have left us reviews have said she's very responsive. She communicates. She gave us a wealth of information before we arrived. We knew exactly what to do. Like that's important. That's important because a lot of times the reviews will reflect that. Oh, well, she didn't say anything. They just gave me the keys and that was it. So you don't want to be that kind of host.
Yeah.
That's where our standards differ.
Absolutely. And I'm going to take it a step further as well and over communicating with your team and helping them understand the why. You know, one of the things that I learned early on in business is when you have a team, in the absence of information, your team will make up the gaps. They will fill in the gaps with what they believe to be true, whether or not it's accurate. Right? And so one of the things that's super important to me in our weekly team meetings with the Cozy Getaways team is not only, triaging any issues or outlining, specific, highlights or challenges that we need to deal with, but helping my team stay informed on what's coming down the pike and why it's coming down the pike. If we're making changes, here are the changes you can anticipate, and here's why I'm making them, and here's how they have impact to the business, and here's how your collaboration is going to make this a success. Making sure to over communicate all of that information helps your team to feel empowered, in my opinion. What say you?
Absolutely. 100% agree. I connect with my team at least once a week. We go over, hey, we are onboarding this property, or we're working on this idea. Let me hear your thoughts on it, or what you think. Because I want them to know, I want them to see the vision or what's ahead. Because as you say, it does empower them, and they take ownership of the company. They feel involved. They feel like they're a piece of it. And that's what we want, not only our employees or the people that work for us, our team, but we also want our guests to feel that way. They want to be a part of something. That belonging is super important. Like I like for our guests, especially our repeat guests, to feel like they're a Jetsetter too.
Right.
I want them to embody that experience, that brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So good. So good. I'm curious, for all the women listening who are chasing big dreams while also navigating life, being a mom, working a full-time job, what's one piece of advice or encouragement you'd like to share with them today?
I think that don't lose yourself in the day-to-day of motherhood. Carve out a little time for yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup. I strongly believe that this business, because I have such a love for it, I think that it has made me be a better mom, because I get that creative outlet that I love, and, that connection with people, but it's made me, I don't know, I'm just very well-rounded, and I feel like that I can deliver for my family like I need to, or be intentional and be there for them, and be there for our guests. I just think that it's super important. Don't lose yourself in the day-to-day, because I know moms are busy, and I know being an employee is busy, but I think that this is it's super important. Find something you love and pursue it with a passion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to your point of, not being able to pour from an empty cup, that's so, so, so important, because I see women all the time who are constantly giving to other people.
Yes.
That's one of the things that makes us amazing, right?
Right. Exactly.
We're givers. We want to help other people. However, we don't want to sacrifice ourselves along the way, right? And so often that's what ends up happening is I see women getting to a point where it becomes a breaking point. And with self-care, when we focus on our physical health and our mental health and proactively taking care of ourselves, we don't have to come up to a breaking point. We can continuously evolve and pay it forward without feeling like we're going to lose ourselves along the way.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Absolutely.
Okay, Jessica, I want to move to the lightning round. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a few things and I'm going to ask you to answer with the very first thing that comes to your mind. Okay.
Okay.
First question is, where is your favorite place to vacation?
Oh, this is easy. I
Okay.
absolutely love Bald Head Island, North Carolina. It's one of my absolute favorite places. You actually have to take a ferry over to the island. There are no cars. It's not commercialized at all. So you ride around on golf carts and bikes. It is one of my absolute favorite places to go to disconnect from the world and really recharge. We vacation there almost every summer. So
I've never been, and I did
yeah.
not know that you couldn't take your car over.
No.
Interesting.
Yes, it's amazing because you've got all the trees with like the Spanish moss hanging over the roads and these gorgeous homes, and it's an amazing environment. Love it. Just our family, you feel safe, and it's just one of my absolute happy places.
I love it. Okay. Next question. What's one place you've never been that you want to visit?
I would have to say it would be my husband. I'll tell you, it's Italy or Greece. Those would be two of my bucket list places that I would love to go to.
Yes. I tell you, I actually just went on a Mediterranean cruise earlier this year and visited both Italy and Greece. And all the wonderful things you hear are absolutely true.
I would love to go.
Yeah.
That, like I said, bucket list for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. What I discovered, I'll tell you two things about the food, just talking about cuisine. Someone had prepared me before I went to Italy saying, the food is not going to be what you expect. And I was like, well, what do you mean? It's not, I'm thinking I'm expecting Italian food, right?
Yes.
But what was interesting is that their Italian food is not like Americanized Italian food. And I discovered that. So it's very, I'm going to say simple with ingredients, but not simple in flavor. It's very flavorful, but more, I'm going to say clean eating. And it is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And the wine, you just can't go wrong. But one thing I did not know is that Greece was known for its wine as well.
I did not know that. I
Girl.
did not.
Okay. Well, I've discovered that and it's phenomenal there too. So I fully support you going to Italy and Greece, and I might need to carry your luggage.
Just saying. I will tell my husband that.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. So fun. All right. What's one thing you know now that you wished you knew when you were starting out in the world of short-term rentals?
I would say that I think my biggest thing was delegation. I think really just like I said, who, not a how. I think that I want to be involved, obviously, but I need to allow more people to assist with me. I can't do everything. I can't be all, do all. And I found people that can assist and deliver to my standards or above those. So I would say that having other people involved to be a effective team, I think it's not just me at the end of the day. It takes a dream team to make an experience like we want to deliver at Jetsetter. So,
yeah. It's interesting. Something that just popped into my head as you've spoken about delegation. I'm a huge proponent of delegation. And in the corporate world, I used to present RACI charts all the time, right? So we would consult with our client base, and in the corporate world, you will, outline each individual task and have different columns for the parties that are responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. And it just kind of popped into my mind as you were talking about delegation. As the owners of our businesses, we want to be informed, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be responsible for individual tasks or accountable for them. Those are our team members. And so anyway, if that helps bring a visual to anyone, I hope that that helps.
It's like you say, like bookkeeping, for example, that is, and it's something that I can do, but is it something that I need to do in our business? Like, is that it's not my genius zone,
Yep.
but it is something that I'm capable of doing. So, it is easy to delegate that task to somebody that truly enjoys it and does well at it so that I can focus on our clients more.
Absolutely. And quite candidly, when it's in someone else's genius zone, they can probably do it in half the time that you can.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right. Makes
So it's much
sense.
more efficient along the way.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Move. I think I am one of those people that I love to learn. I, take classes, I attend webinars, I have joined, masterminds and groups and things like that. And there's only so much information that I myself can download. At some point, you need to take action. I think that has been my biggest lesson over this past year. My husband has quoted it to me before, but perfect makes you broke and good enough, that kind of thing. And I need to adopt more of that mentality. But I really realize that I have to take action because our business isn't going to move or grow if I myself don't take initiative to do things. I think that that's kind of been the biggest thing for me. I can learn and I can be very well versed in the space, but I actually have to deliver. I have to put myself out there so that people know what we do and what we stand for.
Amen. That's such an important piece that, we don't talk about enough, that obviously there's so many opportunities to learn from different people on different platforms about different topics. However, sometimes folks can become a professional student, right?
Right.
And not implement. And to your point, when we do learn something, it's important that we implement it and execute it and keep our business moving forward.
Yes.
Not stay stuck in college, shall we say?
Right. Yeah. Take action. That's the best advice I can give. Just, I know I'm one of those people that loves to have it perfect, but you just need to get out there and do it. Learn along the way. Just go. Just move.
And just do it, in the words of Nike.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, last question. What's one thing and or person that you're grateful for today?
I would say that would be my husband. I have my family, my friends, I have people that support me, but I think that my husband is one of those people that has stood by my side. He knows how much I love this business and fully supports what we're doing. And I would say just having that person, that person that's in your corner that supports you, because it makes, doing this easy. And it's so nice to have somebody, support you in that way. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Jessica, that's so great. And I hope your hubby is listening so that he can appreciate him.
Absolutely.
Jessica, if folks want to find out more about you or Jetsetters, what is the best place for them to find you online?
Absolutely. They can find us at our website. It's stayjetsetting.com. And we're also on Facebook at Jetsetter Property Management or Instagram at Stay Jetsetting.
Love it. Thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, girl, before you go, grab your calendar and block out February 4th, 5th, and 6th, 2026. Why? Because those are the dates of the Short-Term Rental Virtual Summit for Women. Let me tell you, this year is going to be better than ever, and we've got some amazing surprises lined up for you. Stay tuned for more details, but in the meantime, save the dates, February 4th, 5th, and 6th, 2026, and I can't wait to see you there.